Good evening. Thanks for stopping by and welcome to the NeedleBugg. My name is Karen and we are here for another night of stitching after midnight because Karen happens to be wide awake again. And actually, I kind of rather enjoy these after midnight stitches. It's nice, it's quiet, no noise outside, hubby's in bed sleeping. So I'm just down here all by my own self, gonna stitch away for a little while. Isn't that fun? I hope it's gonna be fun. So, if you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you will find something that you enjoy and will continue to come back and visit with me. And if you are returning, thanks so much for hanging out with me. Much, much appreciated. So tonight, we're going to continue our stitching on my version, my charted version of the Sewing Woman. And what the picture that you see there is actually the mock-up from what I charted. Yeah, looks pretty good, I think. So I'm just hoping that it's going to stitch up as nice as it looks in the picture. All remains to be seen, but we shall see. Now, you see, oh golly, I'm going to keep bumping, and I hope that's not going to be the case. Actually, if I put my special goggles down, I won't be bumping it anymore. Who'd have thunk? As you see, I only have a few park threads here. And yes, I'm back up at the top of, that's not what I wanted to do, at the top of the diagonal again. But if you look at the chart, and let me just highlight the color I'm going to do. There's like a clump, a clump. And okay, here's where Karen has her issues of sticking with row by row. Because it's like, all right, there's that whole 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You know, there's close to 20 stitches all within a bunch just in that diagonal. And then if you jump over to the next diagonal, well, there is again a whole lot more. And why should I stitch 3, rethread my needle with another color, stitch 6, jump down to the next row, stitch 5, switch back to this color, stitch it. Okay, that just, here's where I get stuck, because that just seems to me to be a waste of precious stitching time. I know. For somebody who advocated very highly for diagonal stitching a few years ago, and you know what? And there are many of you out there that are doing it just exactly. I don't know why this. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. I'm not sure why my camera is getting fuzzy, and it must be an autofocus thing. Oops. Let me see if I can. Okay, it would help. Looks like I can't change it here. Pooh. Well, we might just have to deal with it. I'll explain all that in just a couple minutes. But anyway, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me to, like, why am I rethreading my needle all the time for a few stitches when maybe I fixed it. When I could just stitch them all and be done with it. So this is one of the reasons you see Karen just switching around in what she does. Okay, how many of you said we're going to take a poll here, and you can put a funny comment in the comments of how many of you said, okay, she might be stitching on the diagonal and she might be going row by row now, but by the next time I see her stitching, it's not going to be that way. She's going to change her mind. How many of you said that and are sitting there laughing like crazy going, I told you so. And that's okay. That is quite okay. Because truth be told, if I would have had to, if I could have gotten in that bet and started a pool of how long is this going to last, yeah, I'd have been right up there with you saying, about a week, if that. So we are back to, I think what I'm probably going to do, even though I still have my diagonal lines on, is try to stay fairly true to the diagonal. But I'm not going to go too far and not have everything filled in. I'm going to try and okay, my next color will probably be the G's that you see there, because then any of these blanks I can fill in. So I'll do the block of color, but the next color will fill in any of the empty spaces, and I'll work down the diagonal that way. Because on 28 count, if I leave too many holes to be filled in, they're going to be hard to find. Not only hard to find, but it's going to probably be look too disrupted, or I don't exactly know the word I want, but it's going to look like, oh yeah, she forgot that stitch and she just stuck one in there. So I'm going to try to keep it flowing fairly smoothly. Operative word there was try. We all know how that goes. We all know. It could be good, it could be bad. So, let me tell you why I did not do any of these stitch with me's in the last week or so. And that was because I was having issues, frustrating issues with my phone. I had service. I had Wi-Fi. But everything was so inconsistent. I had Wi-Fi, and then for no apparent reason, the Wi-Fi would drop off. Just drop off and put me on cellular. And I'm sitting right next to my Wi-Fi router. It's like, what the heck? Well, I had a few choice other words. So that made recording a little difficult, because if I'm going to start out recording using the Wi-Fi, because that's how I connect to my phone to my computer, and then my Wi-Fi drops off the phone, well, then you're going to lose everything. Okay. Karen is doomed sometimes when it comes to technical things, because they always seem to happen to me. So I did not record, and I also lost the ability to monitor my outside camera, because we have a camera outside that monitors the front of the house. Here. So I could not use that because I could not get that to connect anymore. Every time my phone would connect to the Wi-Fi, it connected as a new device. And I'm going, what the? What the? Why? Why is this happening? I spent the best part of a week trying to, I didn't work at it all the time, but I fussed with it quite a bit to try and get it to work. I read forums, watched YouTube videos, I did all kinds of stuff. And yeah, it just wasn't happening. Just was not going to work. Oh, I have that parked down there. So let's go back up here, and maybe we can sneak over here and do some of these others. So in light of all that, it's like, you know what, Karen, don't make yourself more aggravated and try and record a video, and then it's going to get all kinds of frustrating. And I was not able to figure out the problem. I even had my stepdaughter and her son came down yesterday to try and at least help me get the outside camera configured again, to which, okay, that finally did reconnect. But once again, when the Wi-Fi drops, everything else drops. So I said, do you think if I changed cell provider, that will fix these issues? I couldn't decide, was it my cell service? Was it my phone? I could not determine that. Other things seemed to be working all right, but my phone was not working very well. So I talked to hubby about it, and we decided, I had, notice I'm saying had, Xfinity Mobile. and my internet is Xfinity. Let me get you in a little closer here. So one would think, okay, it should have worked well together. But, yeah, that wasn't the case. So I said, okay. And I did some research, and I found that for a little bit more cost-wise, because what I was doing now was, or what I was doing with the Xfinity was paying by the gig, because we really don't use a terrible amount of data. So that was the most cost-effective way to go. Well, what I did was I changed to T-Mobile, and virtually for not a whole lot more, I now have unlimited everything. Unlimited text, unlimited talk, unlimited. Well, I think my data is limited, but it's like, oh my God, it's never gonna, we are never gonna reach that limit. Never. Which is fine. Which is fine. So as I did that, just in case it was my phone, I said, you know, I use my phone to make these videos. Now, what I use my phone for in making these videos is my overhead camera. So the picture you're seeing on the screen now is from my phone. Okay? I do record the videos on my computer, and I use Prism Live. And I set up the scenes in Prism Live. And then I bring in my phone. I bring in my tablet. I insert in the picture. I can put in the camera so that you can see my face, except there's not a whole lot of room on there tonight. So I really want, when I went to them, I said, I really need to have a really good camera, because this is what I do. So I ended up getting a iPhone 15 Pro. And what you see on there now is the picture through that. And look at those colors. Just look at those colors. You are seeing on the screen virtually identical to what I can see here in real life. I am just tickled. Just tickled. I mean, who could ask for anything better than exactly what you're seeing? And it looks, in real life, it looks identical to this. That picture looks identical to what I see here in real life. Now, it may be just a smidge darker, but not much. Barely even noticeable. The black really is standing out on the screen, where it stands out here, but not quite as much. And it could be because of the light. Like if I move it, oh my goodness, there. If I move my light a little bit more like that, okay, that is exactly what I see here in real life. Who could ask for a better picture? And hopefully, bring it back so I can see. Hopefully, to follow what I'm stitching, now I boogered it up a little bit. you are seeing as I stitch, as well as I can see it. Oh, there it is. Okay. I mean, who'd have thunk? So I got the phone in addition to changing the service. And I ended up getting a really, really good deal on the phone. Yes, I had to pay some towards it, but it virtually was not totally free. But what I had to pay with the credit that you get for starting a new service, the credit that you get for trading in your phone. I traded in the old one. Yeah. It was less than $200 to get a new phone. So that was the way I went, and I did that today. So I thought, oh, what better time to do a Let's Stitch After Midnight video and test it out. Because when you have something new, you're biting at the bit to give it a try and see how it works. And so far, I think let me know what you think. Let me know, like, is it just me that thinks this picture is a whole lot better? Or is it really a whole lot better? Because I'm rather tickled with it. And yeah, let me know how it looks on your end. Because from what I can see, it looks pretty good. But like I said, I can only see what I have right here in front of me and what's on my computer screen. So yeah, let me know. So that's where I've been. Pardon me. That's the saga of I'll tell you what, technology is great. It is wonderful. It is fantastic when it works. And the operative words being when it works. I've had my challenges. I've had to learn an awful lot through doing this. It isn't one of those that you just sit down and you just hit record and everything goes as it is. And yeah, and I try to give you a video that, how can I say, that looks professional. Not always. It doesn't always work that way. But I try to give you the stitching. I like I said, this chart is a chart that I made myself. So, you're going to see the chart on the screen. You're going to see the picture of what I'm stitching. If there was room up there, I'd have my face there, but not tonight. Besides that, it's my hair's a little disheveled, and I'm sitting here in my pajamas, and you really don't want to see that. At least I don't think I wouldn't, but who knows? So, yeah, then, once I record, then I have to go through and edit, and it's a process, and it's a process to put out a good video, and you want good equipment. So hence the phone, the new phone. I have I have my phone as one camera. I have a Brio as another camera, and all rigged up. And when I first started, that's going to segue me into something else. When I first started doing this, I literally did have just my phone. And for a long, long time, I literally did have just my phone. And I had a comment here of late about one of the videos, about it being unclear and shaky and what have you. And truth be told, yes, it was. Now, I do not mind constructive criticism. I really don't. And I have to say that, yes, she was absolutely right. What she did not realize was the fact that how that video was recorded. That's one of the videos that was done by taking my case creation stand, in the clamps, putting a board of some sort. I don't remember exactly what I used, but it was a board of some sort. Putting that in the clamps, laying my phone on top of that with the camera out over the edge in order to make those videos. Number one, it was hard to stay in frame. Number two, yes, it's all bumping around and all of that good stuff. However, some of those early videos were never made with the intention of starting a channel. Yes, they were uploaded to YouTube. But what people don't know or don't realize is the reason they were loaded to YouTube was not with the intent of starting a YouTube channel. The reason was I was teaching classes. All the people that had access to those videos were only people in my classes. And they were only made to be a point of reference as a refresher for what they had learned in class. So in all honesty, some of those early videos, I was not worried about the quality of the video. Because those people had been in the class. And they got that demonstration in the class firsthand. So what those were to provide was just a refresher, and a lot of times just the verbal saying, okay, you put your needle in here and you bring it up here and you do this, was enough because they already had the information. Well, the only reason I started the channel was just because I was going to put a video up to show this is how I stitch on the diagonal. Because I had watched Brian Plit stitch, and although I understood the principle of what he was doing, I could not wrap my head around stitching vertically. I just, at that point in time, could not process that. So I took his principles and applied it to the way I wanted to stitch, which was horizontally. When I did that, I thought, oh wow, I marked those stitches off. Anyway, when I did that, I thought, you know what? I wonder if people who were having trouble, the same trouble I was in stitching vertically, if I make a couple videos to show how I stitch, would that help them? So that's what I did. And that's when I became a YouTuber. Not with those initial heart hanger videos. They were never intended to what it ended up that they became. Were never intended. So I do agree that some of those beginning ones are pretty bad. Which is why I redid a lot of them. So, yeah, just understand that things are not always as we think they are, because they were never supposed to be videos to grow a channel. They were videos to help the people in my class. So that explains that, I hope. Okay, let me go back to this one. Okay, yeah, so that explains that. So I just did want to mention that. And like I said, to the person that made that comment, and that's fine. And I understand. And yeah, it was bad. And I had taken them down for a long time. But I had a friend who was learning some heart hanger, and she had watched the newer ones, and I wanted to turn on the older ones for her also. And as I should have just made them unlisted and gave her the access to them, but I didn't, and because it was easier. And yeah, they weren't even really supposed to be out there for public viewing. But be that as it may, you may see them go away. You may. I have not decided yet, and really, since I had that comment, I really haven't had much time to think about it. So let's see. Oh, a little bit of housekeeping, a little bit. And I want to mention it here because that will get, oh, I don't want to go down much further. That will bring it to the attention of more people. And if I put it in my groups, the people that need this information are not going to get it because they're not in the group, and what I'm going to talk about affects the group. I have had, okay, if you want to get into the diagonal stitching group, for the love of diagonal stitching, here's the deal. And then I'll tell you why. But let me have a little sip of water first. Okay, here's the deal. First off, you must answer the questions. If there are no answers to the questions, your request is going to automatically be denied. Okay, so you must answer the questions. Secondly, I have had a lot of people who have requested to join, and I do check your profile to ensure that you are in fact a stitcher. And I'll explain why in a few minutes. Okay. What I'm finding is a lot of people have their profile locked. I guess that's what it's called. That people cannot see your profile. Therefore, I cannot verify the fact that you are indeed a stitcher. And I will explain why that, to me, is important. If I have questions, and I do allow you in the group, and there's still some, I'm not quite so sure, your post will need to be approved for the first 30 days. So that I can be sure. And here's the reason why all of this has come to pass. With all that goes on the internet, there are bots out there, there are scammers out there, and for some reason, God only knows why, these bots and scammers won in the groups. Hopefully. Well, in the diagonal group, I get requests to join, which is great. However, the questions are answered. But the answer to the question, I don't know, I lost count of how many times the wording is identical. Okay, so there might be a picture that comes with that request, like the profile picture. It will be what looks like a very legitimate name. Questions have word for word the exact same response. And the response, it's close, but it's not exactly what I should have saved one to read it to you, but I didn't. And I don't think I have it on my phone anymore because it's a new phone and I'm using it to record. Unless I can find it on my iPad. But at any rate, the wording comes across as I am interested, but it's identical. All of these that have been questionable have been identical. And when I go to see the profile is locked. So I can't verify that this person is in fact a stitcher, or that this person's even for real. And not that I want to, how do I want to say it? Not that I want to throw everybody in the same cubbyhole, so to speak. But when I do go, and I have been able to see the profile, which I could when this first started, the friends of these people and their profile picture looks like someone who would be a stitcher. What they're doing is they're cloning people's Facebook pages. And then under the friends, it looks, if you watch on YouTube some of the videos put out by these people that try and track down scammers, that's who they look like. And it's like, I don't know why you people want in my group. And I have had tons of those kinds of requests. So all of that is why I'm having this conversation of, I need to be able to verify that you are who you are saying that you are. So the option, if your profile is locked, that I can't go in, that I can't pull up your profile and verify that you are who you're saying you are and you're a stitcher, if you could just unlock it until I or the other admin, Barb, approve your request or deny your request, and then lock it up again. Or on my videos is my email. Send me a way to verify who you are, that you are in fact the person that is requesting. To be in the diagonal group. I hate to be so hardcore about this, but it's a private group. I want to make sure that you are safe. If I let bots in or scammers in, I don't know what's going to happen. And you have all seen it there back, well, it's been quite a while ago now, But there have been people that as soon as I've let them in the group, they're advertising, come work for me, or they're advertising, buy this or buy that, or this is not a group where you're going to sell things unless you have asked me. It's a one-time thing. We've discussed it, and I say, oh, okay, go ahead. Or maybe you can't do the actual selling in the group, but you can tell people, I have this that I would like to sell. If you're interested, just contact me, and then that's the end of it. But we're not going to get into posting all kinds of things for sale and all of that. And that's what some of these people were doing. And then they were getting, okay, the first time they were getting suspended, and the second time the suspension was even a little longer. And as soon as that suspension would be over, that post would be right back in there again. To the point that, okay, you bit me twice, you're not going to get me the third time, you're out of here. So now, as a result, people don't get in. They're not getting in if they're going to do those kinds of things. So if you have your profile locked, that I cannot go in and see it, send me the screenshot of your profile and include in that, make sure it has some stitching pictures in it that I can see that you are in fact a stitcher. Or unlock your profile that I can go in and look and say, okay, this person is who she says she is. Oh, here's her friends list, and so and so and so. Well, I know them, and I know them, and I know they're stitchers. And okay, if they're on her friends list, then she must be, then she's okay. Or have someone that's in the group vouch for you. Again, I just am trying to make sure that people are safe. And I think I marked off some, what the heck am I doing here? Yeah, I don't want people getting scammed. I don't want people being taken advantage of. How did I miss those? Oh, I see how. Okay. And it might be overkill. But I just don't want to see people end up in a situation that could have been prevented. So if you want to join, we are glad to have you. Just give me a way to verify who you are, that you are who you say you are, and answer the questions. Please answer the questions. I get a lot of people who don't answer them at all. Shoot me an email. So that's what I have to say about that. Okay, so we will move on from that. Oh, we're pushing almost an hour. Someone just asked me how to, and that's why I've been sitting here not stitching. How do I start a thread, a single thread from the front on like 25. I'm working on 28. But I will show you how. I haven't done it that way for a long time. Let me show you what I like better than a loop start. Okay, I think it holds better. I prefer it to a loop start. Now, you want to make sure that you have a sharp needle. That is the biggest thing. Your needle for this part needs to be a sharp needle. So, yeah, this one's sharper. I'm going to switch my needle here for a second. I threaded. Oh, this is the one that I hate. This is a chenille needle, and these little puppies sometimes can be stinkers to thread. Oh, there we go. Even with my handy dandy little way to do it. Okay. Nicola showed that the other, come on, focus. Okay. The way I thread is you lay it over, let me, okay. Maybe it won't unfocus so bad. You lay it over your finger and you hold it tight. You take the eye of your needle and put it on top. And then what I do is press really hard and roll my finger forward and just push forward. And do you see how that little loop pops up? And I just lost it. Okay, lay it there, push forward, and you get that little loop. And then I take my nail and I grab that little loop. I can't see. My eyes are, and I pull it through. Okay? Just pull it through like that. This eye is rather small, so I'll show it to you on a needle that you would be using more often. Okay? I'll do it on the other end, then I'll take it off. So lay it over the eye of your needle on top, and then just roll your, I just push my finger forward, and this thumb is still holding on to the, okay, my nail is against the thread, needle on top, and I just roll everything forward, and as I push down on the needle, I'm pushing on the thread, and you get that nice little loop, and then you just grab a hold of that loop and pull it through like so. Takes a little practice. Some people get it rather quickly. Some people struggle with it. But that's how I thread my needle. And now to start my thread, this is the method that I enjoy the best. Again, sharp needle, a chenille needle, because your even weave fabric, you got to pierce the threads. So let me zoom you back in. Oh, I'm going to get you in real close. Oh, I'm loving this phone camera. Oh my God. Are you guys impressed yet? Oh, look at that. Tell me you're impressed. I am. I'm so easily impressed and entertained. What can I tell you? Okay, so I am going to go down. Now, normally my first cross goes lower left to upper right. Okay, I am going to go down in the upper right. Ouch. And I'm going to poke my finger. I am going to come up in the middle of that intersection, or as close in that intersection somewhere. Okay, can you see that? So I'm piercing the horizontal thread, I'm piercing the vertical thread. Okay, and I'm coming up in that. Now I'm going to pull this through to the point of leaving just a little bit sticking out. And if anything is left sticking out after you do the X, snag nabbits are wonderful things. Now, I am going to go down just to the left of where I came up in the center of that horizontal thread between the two vertical threads. Okay, can you see that? And I mean, this is 28, so it's a little hard to see. So here's a vertical thread. Over there's a vertical thread that I came up in. I'm going down in the horizontal thread between the two vertical threads. And that's going to make an itty bitty little tacking stitch. See it? Okay. Now I'm going to come up in my, oh, this needle's so sharp it's hard to find, in my lower left-hand corner, which is the starting corner for my X's. Now, that's not going to go, oh, don't pull too hard because it will come out. So let's do it one more time. Down in the upper right, up in the center. And sometimes it takes a little bit. I did so good finding it the first time. There we go. Okay, up in the center, or in those threads that make that intersection. Down in the vertical thread between the two, in the horizontal thread between the two verticals. Okay, so that you have that little tacking stitch. Okay, somehow I left it too big a tail and the tail got caught. Here we go. Come. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to pull that. Oops. I'm going to pull that so that tail comes in and just has a little smidge. Then I'm going to come up where I start my stitch. And like I said, this needle's a little too sharp for regular stitching. So you might want to, before you do this part, reach underneath and change your needle, but that kind of defeats it. Okay, come up. Now I'm going to change my needle back to a tapestry needle. And this is a 26. And then I am going to just do my stitch as I normally do my stitch. Go down in the upper right, come up in the lower right, and I will show you. Look, that's going nowhere. Go down here, and then just stitch on. It leaves your back with virtually no sign that you started a thread. And what little bit does show on the front, it either gets pushed down when you complete this next X, or you use your snag nab it and get rid of it. I think I just went the wrong way. I should have went over here. Anyway. I think that's all I have. And now I'm over an hour, and I really don't like to hold you guys up too much longer. So if you've stayed to the end, thank you so much. I just put that X in the wrong place. Yeah, I think I goofed something up. And you're probably all yelling at me. That's what happens when I try and talk and stitch at the same time. But we'll fix it. We'll fix it. No big deal. No big deal. Let's see. How many stitches did I? Oh, only 63 this time. These late night stitching will just be stitching on the sewing woman. You're going to see more of them because there are some nights that I'm really not going to have anything to talk about, so there will be some with just music. But we're going to follow the progress of this chart because I really do want to see how it turns out having stitched it or having created it myself. I am curious. I am very, very curious. So we shall see. So with that, my friends, I hope all of you have a wonderful night. Let's see, what time is it now? Oh, it's not too bad. It's only 1:30. It's pretty early yet. But like I said, I don't want to keep you on here forever. An hour is quite a long enough video. There's plenty of other videos out there that need to be watched. So with this, I am going to bid you all good night. Sleep well. I will see you soon. Stitch happy. Stitch what you like. Or stitch what you love. Love what you stitch. And I shall see you next time.